Welcome to Step into Abundance 360 podcast. I'm your host, Sophia Ao, DTM. Step into Abundance 360 podcast is a bilingual radio program in which focuses on creating a more abundant mindset with the sense of possibilities and security, and to live is abundant fullness of joy and strength for your mind, body, and soul. In this podcast, I will be interviewing the entrepreneurs, professionals, and elite from all walks of life in our community. And we can all learn and get inspired from them. Eventually, we can take things to the next level and push the success and abundance of your business and lifestyle even further. And now, let's get started.
Hello everyone, welcome to Step into Abundance 360 podcast. It is Sophia here. Today we have a guest from Paris, Chloé Goncalves. She is a French digital marketing professional and she is helping European brands enter the Chinese market through the biggest B2C platform worldwide on behalf of Alibaba Global. And in 2016, she was recruited among 3,500 candidates to join the first Alibaba Global Leadership Academy created by Jack Ma. She became one of the company's global ambassadors and has spent 3 years working on Alibaba headquarter in Hangzhou, China. And today we are excited to hear more interesting stories from Chloé working in Alibaba. Bonjour, Chloé.
Bonjour. Hi, Sophia. Thank you for having me.
Welcome and pleasure to have you on our podcast show. First of all, could you tell us more about yourself?
Sure. Well, that was a really great introduction, actually. But my name is Chloé Goncalves. I was born and raised in Paris. I have 2 master's degrees in digital marketing and international business. I lived during my studies 6 months in South Korea, and that's really like the point where that made me love Asia. Already at that time, I found that they were super advanced in terms of technology, and I found like the culture was so different from what we had in Europe, and I knew I wanted to come back to Asia after graduating. And I was actually looking for jobs in South Korea because I really loved it, but then I was lucky enough to be selected among 3,500 candidates to join the AGLA program that was created actually by Jack Ma to fasten the group globalization. So we were basically 30 foreigners to come to Hangzhou. Actually, it was for 1 year, but I decided to stay longer. So I stayed 3 years in China in total and worked in different business units like AliExpress, Tmall Global, and I came back to France last year. And today my role is to help, as you mentioned, the French and European brands to enter the China market and help them open stores on Tmall Global.
Wow, very interesting. And can you share with us, why do you like Asia or why do you fancy about China?
I think I really like being out of my comfort zone. So in Paris, life is quite easy for me because I speak the language, I can read everything. But when I arrived in South Korea, when I arrived in China, everything was so new. And I'm such a curious person. So I really enjoyed talking to people, visiting new places, trying out new things. And in China, I just felt that they were so advanced in digital, and as I'm focusing on digital, it was really interesting. When you compare Tmall to other platforms we have in Europe, or just the fact that I was cashless for 3 years in Hangzhou because you can pay everything with your phone, that was just amazing to me. And Chinese people were also super kind and super humble. I really enjoyed discovering the culture, learning the language. So that's actually why I stayed longer than I was supposed to.
Oh, so it is about the culture, about the experience that you have, in China. Wonderful. So what is your favorite part working in Alibaba, or what is the favorite things about your career?
I think my favorite thing right now is that because I learned so much about Alibaba and China when I was living there, is being able to transmit back my knowledge to my fellows in Europe. So a big part of my job is actually educating the brands about the China market because people here might have a lot of misconceptions or stereotypes about China. They don't know, how to do to to sell there, how to work with Chinese people. So a big part of my job is actually to educate them and teach them and be actually the bridge between the two culture. And that's what I really like.
Wow, it sounds like a big job, right? Educating and, to teach people how to sell the product in the biggest market, China.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
could you,
Like,
yeah.
Tmall is such a different platform than what we have here. In Tmall we have more than 700 million consumers. They connect on Tmall and Taobao more than 7 times per day, because it's not only an e-commerce platform, it's also a social platform. So people would watch videos, read blogs, buy things for their supermarket, buy plane tickets, order food, buy their cinema tickets. So it's just a completely different consumer experience, and brands really need to understand that to make sure that they enter the market correctly and find the right target audience and put the right messages for their brand.
So your advice would be so valuable for the shop and for the brand and for the business as well. Because
Exactly.
for me, I know that Alibaba Tmall, it is a one-stop solution for everything. So it can, if you cannot buy it in Alibaba, Taobao or Tmall,
Exactly.
you cannot buy
anywhere
else. You can buy everything in Alibaba Tmall. Could you tell us, you mentioned the misconceptions, the miscommunications. What are the 3 common miscommunications that you have ever encountered when you're working
I
for
think
your
the
career?
brands, they think that if they want to sell in China, they need to have a Chinese team. They need to, register all their products, to open a bank account there, everything, which seems quite complicated when you don't speak the language. But actually with Tmall Global, as it's cross-border, they actually don't need to do that. Tmall Global allows them to do their first entry in China without having all the troubles of having a team locally, having a bank account, register the product. So we help them find a partner, what we call TP, a Tmall partner, that will help them do that. Another misconception is that, any products that are selling well in Europe will sell well in China. I think Chinese consumers are very different. They're very young, they're very technological. So it's important for them to understand that Chinese consumers are not the same and that they like specific products, they have specific tastes. So I do a lot of education about that as well. And the last misconception, I would say that just in terms of shopping behaviors, as I told you, the shopping behaviors in China are very social. So we do a lot of education about live streaming as well, because in China, Tmall is like a search engine for consumers. So if they want good information about your brands, you really have to invest in marketing, in live streaming, to make sure that consumers will be interested about your brands and learn everything they want to know about it. So these will be the three main.
Oh, wonderful. A brand, for example, a foreign brand, which is planning to expand their business to China market, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What is your biggest tip for them?
I think the main tips is to find a good partner, a good TP. That will be actually the most important step, because a TP, Tmall partner, will be really the partner of the brand in China. So they have to make sure that they get along with them, that this TP has experience in the market, has already launched successful brands from the same category, have done interesting and good marketing campaign and things like that. So it is actually our role as BD, like business development manager, to help the brand find a good partner. And once they found a good partner, we also advise them to be really implicated in this project, because China evolves so fast. So they really have to have someone that is dedicated to the project, that can reply very quickly to the partner and make sure they expand and grow very fast.
I totally agree. Like when we would like to expand our business to another market, we have to do it localized. We have to fit their culture, fit their language, fit their mindset as well. So it is very important to find a partner in that local market to help us better to find the edge and find the niche of our branding. Very good. And what is your biggest surprise, because you came back to Paris last year, right? What is your biggest
Mhm.
surprise that you had and why?
I think the biggest surprise I had was how convenient life was actually in China compared to Europe. Like one simple thing is that in China, to get around and do whatever you want, you need like 2 to 3 apps. You know, like you need Taobao, Tmall, Alipay, and maybe WeChat to speak to your friends. But in France, like you need one app for your groceries, one app to go to the gym, one app for the train ticket, one app for the plane ticket. Like I had to download like 20 apps during my first week. I came back just to do like everything I wanted to do. So that was really the thing that struck me, is that in China everything is so convenient. Alibaba has built such a big ecosystem that with one app you can do literally whatever you want and whatever you want to buy. So I think that's really something that I'm missing when I live in Paris.
Yeah, definitely. It is a one-stop solution for everyone. So it brings a lot of convenience for people and it is benefit for people
Mm-hmm.
living in China. And
Exactly.
when you're working in Alibaba, can you name 3 people that who are very influential to you
Mm-hmm.
and why?
The first person I would say is Brian Wong, who was Alibaba's vice president, because he's actually the one who found me on LinkedIn and recruited me for the program. He sent me an email about the leadership program, and that's how I found out about this opportunity. And it's thanks to him that I actually joined. And after we joined the leadership program, he was really our mentor, like giving us a lot of education about Alibaba, a lot of tips as new joiners in the company, especially as foreigners, to have a smooth journey in Alibaba. Second one I would say is very corporate, but Jack Ma for sure. He's the CEO of the company,
Yeah.
and I really love his story. He built everything from scratch. He was actually an English teacher and built a company with his students and his colleagues, and I found the story very amazing. And despite that he's the richest man in China, he stays so humble and so kind to everyone he meets. I had the chance to meet him a few times, but one extraordinary time was during the Alibaba 18th anniversary. Alibaba was organizing a big party in Hangzhou's biggest stadium. So there were 60,000 people watching the show, but not everyone could join because we are 120,000 employees. So there was a lottery, and I actually didn't got the ticket. So I was really sad. And my HR told me, well, Chloe, if you want to join the party, you can perform on the stage. So I actually joined a group of called the IT girls, who was like preparing the opening dance of the party. So during 2 months, I did like rehearsal, etc. And the day of the show, after my dance, my HR calls me again and said, "Oh, Chloe, we have a secret mission for you. Would you like to walk with Jack Ma on stage?" And I was like,
Oh, really? Wow, lucky. You're
so
so
actually, they
lucky.
changed my dress, and I will send you the picture. But yeah, I worked with Jack Ma on stage for like maybe like 15, 20 seconds. But he thanked me like at least 5 times during those 20 seconds. He was like, "Thank you so much, thank you so much." I'm like, "No, thank you." Like, yeah, I was so impressed by his humility. He's such an amazing person and founded such a big company, and he was the one thanking me for walking with him on stage. So that really struck me. And the last person I would say is one of my colleagues called Bella Hongchen. She was my manager during my rotation in Tmall World, and she's been super helpful because she was one of the only colleagues I had who could speak English, and at the time I couldn't speak Chinese, so she was super helpful, helping me, get around and helping me do some translation work when I couldn't understand. And she's also the one who made me discover yoga because she's a yoga teacher and I had never tried before. And since then, I'm like completely fan of yoga, doing yoga every day. So it's really thanks to her. So that would definitely one of the 3 people that influenced me a lot in Alibaba.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I bet you have wonderful experience and memory working in China during that time. So lucky Chloe to have a chance to, to support Jack Ma on the stage. So
Yes.
wow, amazing. And what is your biggest takeaway or learning or lessons after
Mm.
joining first Alibaba Global Leadership Academy?
I think the biggest learning is that you have to transform your frustration into opportunities. I mean, in China, it's very easy to get frustrated when you're a foreigner because you don't speak the language. It's very hard, to get a taxi, especially in Hangzhou, because in Hangzhou, like, people don't really speak English. So you can get very, very easily frustrating, even at work. All my meetings are all in Chinese, and you're like, oh my god, how am I going to do it? It's so frustrating. But I think once you have like a different mindset, thinking that, okay, it's not them that have to change, it's you that have to change, and you have to change this frustration into opportunity. And thanks to this mindset, I started learning a lot of Chinese, and like, during meetings, trying to listen what words they were saying, and asking my colleague Bella to help me translate. And then I started to learn, and then I know I can speak quite fluent Chinese. So instead of being frustrated, I think it's really important to like shift a little bit your mindset and take this opportunity as a growth opportunity. And now I'm so thankful that thanks to that, I can speak Chinese, I can understand better the culture. I was able to get along with colleagues that couldn't speak the language, and yeah, that's really when you're out of your comfort zone that the magic happened. And it was the same with the Alibaba annual party. I was very sad that I didn't get the ticket because I was frustrated. I was like, okay, maybe there is a chance, and I joined the dance, and because I joined the dance, and I ended up working with Jack Ma. So I think it's very important to have that in mind.
Yeah. So it is very important to have a mindset, positive mindset, abundance mindset, that once you change your mindset, opportunities, possibility will come to you.
Definitely.
So that is very good sharing. And as you know that like in 2020, we face many struggles, right? So
Yes.
could you share what kind of skills do you think we need to adopt or we need to have in order to be successful in this year?
I think first one is adaptability to change. Actually, in Alibaba, one of our value is change is only constant, and that is so true. Everything in the world will always change. Now we have a pandemic, but maybe there will be something else. There is just every type of situation, there will always be change. So instead of being resistant, I think you have to be really flexible. You have to be like water and like really adapt to whatever is changing. And once you have this mindset as well, instead of focusing on what is annoying because of the change, but instead focusing on the opportunity of this change, then it will be way easier for people to actually grow in this type of situation. Another one skill I would say is like really creativity, because now we have access to so many tools like internet and social media. I think we have a really powerful tool to like be creative and do something different. People are spending more and more time online, so if you want your product or your brand or your story to be seen, you have to be really creative. And that's also why we've seen like so many platforms like TikTok and Douyin emerge, because people want to be creative and do some things different. And I think that's already two good skills to have in 2020.
So adaptability and creativity are the two main things that we have to embrace in 2020. Wonderful. So do you have a TikTok account? Do you post any video on there?
I have TikTok, but I don't post. I do watch a lot because I find it very funny, very creative, but I don't post myself.
Okay, so you enjoy the video, like content.
I like the format. It's very quick, very creative. It can give me like some inspiration about a lot of different subjects. So yeah, I do like watching it.
Nice. So what do you think will be the trend in China in the coming year?
I think since the COVID, Chinese consumers are more and more, concerned about health issues. So we've seen a lot of growth within those categories. So it can be, with healthy food, health supplements, fitness outfits, fitness products. It can also be, related to babies, like a product for mom to be safe, and a safe product for the kids, safe baby care, etc. So I think it's going to be a really good trend in China. One other big trend is, live streaming. I've talked to you about that. Live streaming was already very big before the virus, but thanks to it increased way more. A lot of businesses in China actually used it to like recover and increase their sales during this period. I remember seeing like museums in China who were doing live streaming and then selling the product from their boutique. I saw like farmers as well doing live streaming to sell like corns or salads or potatoes, whatever. So I think it was a really good trend that is going to keep increasing. That's actually something that we recommend to our brand, is like including this type of live streaming within their marketing strategy to make sure that they can connect with their consumers. It's an amazing tool. They can connect, they can interact, they can have instant feedback, so they can entertain as well the consumer. So it's definitely something that the brands that have to keep in mind.
So live streaming, it
Yes.
is getting popular in Hong Kong as well. Like during COVID, I always see people doing live, share some video online. So everyone is doing it, right? What is the biggest tips from you as a digital marketing professionals? What kind of tips could you give us for winning consumers' heart?
I think it's very hard to have only one strategy, one common strategy for everyone, because on Tmall, for example, we have like more than 8 different consumer segments. You have the Generation Z, you have the young moms, you have the white collars, you have the rookie collars, you also have groups that are older people, and all of them have different ways to shop, different ways to watch. They watch different things, different topics, they like different categories. So as a brand, I think you really have to identify who is your end consumer in China. So do a lot of market research, how old will be your consumers, what they would buy, what they like, and then based on that, trying to find the channels that they are using to market your product. That's really the most interesting. You cannot have just one strategy for the whole China. You have to identify who is your consumer group, and then based on what they do, what they like, what they love, then you can adapt and find the right marketing channels to target them.
So it is about getting to know your customer and finding their preferences.
Yes, exactly. We see that the consumers in China are so different from the consumers that you could have in your home country. Usually they're much younger. I like to take the example of Moet Hennessy, who is having whiskey in the US. Who is buying this type of product is 50 years old man.
Yeah.
In China, they're 25 years old. So it's so different. So you shouldn't target 50 years old people in China for this type of product. You have to know who is buying this type of alcohol, and then target the right audience. So that's why the marketing, the consumer market research is very important prior to setting up a strategy, because if you think your product is targeting teenagers, but in the end it's old people who buys it, it's completely different. So it's very important to do it.
Exactly. Related to your example for the whiskey, I remember in China there's a brand called 小白, like a white bottle of wine. So it is 小白酒, 是不是? It's a brand called 小白 something. So it is actually targeting young people 20 to 30. However, in Western country or market, they are targeting middle-aged segment.
Exactly. That's why you really have to make sure that you know who would be your consumers in the market before doing any marketing strategy.
Okay. And could you elaborate more? In China, what is the segment that has the biggest buying power? Which segment is emerged segment?
It's very hard to say one answer, because there are so many categories. But basically on Alibaba's platform, 80% of consumers are between 18 to 30 years old. So very, very, very young consumers. I would say that's the main target. It's people between 20 and 30 years old. They are the one who are spending the most time online. They are the one who follows a lot of international KOLs. They like to travel. They like, to discover what is trendy overseas. So that would be definitely, I think, the one with the most buying power.
So the young generation.
Yes.
Perfect. And how do you think our world will change in 5 years, 10 years?
I think people will become more and more conscious about like environmental matters. I think we've seen it already. I see a lot of brands launching organic collections in China, or like even KFC I saw doing like a vegan hamburger. So I think this environmental conscious initiative will continue to grow. And one more thing I think is going to be, it's already the case in China, but it's going to become more and more important overseas, is living cashless. In China, as I mentioned, I never withdraw cash in 3 years. And now in Paris, I actually see in the restaurant now the QR code on the table for you to scan the menu, and you can now pay with Apple Pay and Lydia and some other apps that we have here. So I think more and more people will become more friendly to those type of innovation, like financial innovation, and live more cashless. I think that would be the two things I would see for the next 10 years.
Okay, so it is about environmental concern, and
Yes.
another part is about the technology.
Yes.
We are more conscious about how we can make change with our technology.
Yeah.
Very good. So if you were granted one wish, what would you do with the wish?
I wish everyone to stay healthy and good in your body, especially in this time of COVID. I think your body is the most important tool, most important thing. So take care of it, eat good food, do exercise, and stay safe and healthy.
So, being healthy and be positive. Very nice. And I missed one question. I will edit it back to our previous sessions. I know that you have been working before joining the Alibaba Group. You had worked as a digital marketing and social media manager in Coca-cola and IBM, right? So
Yes.
These three companies, they are very big and large in terms of the size and the development. Name 5 important traits, important factors that you think Alibaba can stand out from other brands.
I think what is very particular about Alibaba is how they use data and technology. Alibaba has built like such a big ecosystem. So basically, if a small business wants to connect, they can do everything. We have logistics, we have marketing, we have e-commerce, we have cloud, we have payment. So that's it, really not how they actually differentiate themselves, is that they created such a big technological ecosystem that can help brands from A to Z for any type of projects.
Any other apart from like offering one-stop solution, like from A to Z? So any other important factor that you think Alibaba will, stand out from the crowd? Any other like culture or?
Yeah, I think the culture is very important in Alibaba. People are very hardworking. Jolio. The working schedule in China is very different from what we have overseas. But yeah, people are very fascinated when I see the SHR, like the category managers in Hangzhou, like working for Timo Global. They work so much and so long to help the brands succeed. Like, we are really, our goal is not only to open as many stores as possible, is to make sure that those stores and those brands succeed in China. So that's really our passion. Actually, we say that consumer is first, employees second, and shareholders third. So that's really what's driving Alibaba, is making sure that all the consumers are happy. If the consumers are happy, the employee will be happy. And if consumers and employee are happy, then the shareholders will be happy as well. So that's something that I think is really the dedication of the employees, and making sure that the consumers having the best experience.
So that's true. Like we often say that the client, the consumer is God. So we work hard for serving them, right? So, and I think it is very important to place the customer's interest in our priority, in our heart, and they can feel it. Oh, Chloé is really doing well for my company and my business. They can actually feel it, and they will work with the team for a long period of time. So very good.
Perfect.
And the final question is, if our listener would like to get in touch with you, how can they find you online?
They can find me on LinkedIn. I think that's the easiest platform. My name is Chloé Goncalves. I am also on Twitter and WeChat and Instagram as well. Just type my name and you'll find me.
Wow. So LinkedIn, WeChat, Twitter as well, right?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. So as I can see, you make good use of your social media platform in here. Thank you so much for joining us today on this platform and this podcast. And we are happy to see you very soon, maybe in Hangzhou, China, or in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Yes, I hope so. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for spending your afternoon with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very nice talking with you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, keep learning and live in abundance. I will see you next time.